Guys, what is up? It is Thursday night, the 3rd of March. Just checking in, man. So everybody's going. Excuse the mess back here. I had my pizza for dinner. You know how it is being a bachelor and all. What's going on, guys? Hopefully everybody's been able to get some good flying in. It's been a beautiful week here, but I haven't got to fly not one time. So my plan is to do some flying this weekend. See who we got in the house this evening. We got Ken Brantley. What's up, brother? Snow Valley. Richard Webb. Hamilton's Hanger. I'll swing by after my small group. Have fun. Andy G, what's going on? What's up, Gooniac? What's going on, man? Zach Marshall, what's up, brother? So Bobby is, of course, wrangling the youngins, getting the youngins put down. And so I figured I'd launch the show for a little bit. Tim, what's going on? Wings 88, what's going on? Grizz Master Fricks, what's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's doing well. Dutch Love is in the house. Yeah, hopefully everybody's been able to get some flying in this week, man. It's been a beautiful week.
It has, hasn't it, man? It's been pretty nice.
What's up, Bobby?
It's been going pretty good. What in the world, man? We've got some cool stuff going on tonight.
Jeff,
what do you think?
What's up, brother? Yeah, I haven't told everybody that we got a special surprise for them tonight.
We do. We should make them wait. We should make them just hold off, man. What do you think?
I went on live with him, or I got on with him when he was in. I told him I was putting him in timeout.
Oh, you put him in timeout.
I'm gonna have to put you in timeout. You're gonna have to just sit back and watch us kind of do the show until we decide to bring you in.
I tell you, man. Hey, dude, he's just hanging out in the back, man. Just ready to bust through the doors. Guys, we got a cool dude that is on our channel, man. Really easy going. Very knowledgeable dude. Wouldn't you say, Jeff?
Dude, after having that conversation with him earlier tonight, I'm just like, dude, I'm an idiot when it comes to this stuff. I'm just going to sit back.
I've been telling you that all day long, man. I've been telling you that all day long. But the question is, hey, you think these guys could figure out who we're talking about? I bet they have no clue.
Hey, we can let them guess. Anybody want to guess?
Anybody want to guess? Let's just see something about a gator. What do you think about that?
See, a gator to me is a tire that's blown off a big truck going down the road. Hey, girl.
Thanks. Thank you. You want to grab that door? Thank you, baby doll.
Like a gator's, a big truck tire when it blows and it's on the road. That's what we call it. Is a gator. And Michael writes good. Hi, buddy. How you doing, man?
It's a gator, and Jeff, have you ever noticed some gators like RC? You ever notice that?
I did not. I think it'd be cool to see one playing with a car or a boat or a plane. Maybe I don't know.
You know what, Jeff? I guess we probably could qualify for being kind of like what, just plain crazy. I guess, aren't we? I guess we all are.
Maybe, possibly.
Well, guys, without further ado, what do you think, Jeff? We need to bring him on in?
Yeah, I'll bring him in. Welcome to the show, guys.
Welcome to the show. We've got Mr. Just Plain Crazy over here, guys.
What's up, everybody? How you guys doing?
Nice,
you guys are hysterical.
Man.
Hey, man, we try to have fun here, right?
We definitely have fun here, man. I love it. Look, we got snacks. We've got cookies. I've got coffee right here. Hey, man, I'm ready, dude. Glad to have you onto the channel. Brendan, how long have we been trying to get you on the channel, man? It has been a while, like a couple of weeks.
It's been a few weeks, so we've been trying to make things work, and got busy last week, and a lot of schedules trying to get them to jive together. So, but it's cool. So finally got a chance to do it, and excited to be here.
Yeah, we are glad to have you, man. Love what you do on your channel. Like I told you already, I was already a fan. I remember watching your channel being like, dude, this guy's got as many remote control airplanes as I have, like balsa planes. I was like, dude, I love it. So I was just oogling and noggling over all the airplanes you had in your basement. And I was like, how does his wife not say anything? You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm sure she does. Like, she's got to. There's no way about it. Like,
you think so?
It's better than drugs in the strip club, so she'll take it.
I think it's more expensive than drugs in the strip club. Like, I think I should save some money, man.
It is.
If I only knew what I know now.
You look at some of those Instagram, little short clips and stuff when you got those people. How much was it?
Yeah.
They just gave it to me. That's what goes on in my house all the time. So
Google it. Just Google it.
Man, oh man.
And now she got into flying with me. So as we travel around and we RV and stuff and go to different events or fields, she goes with me and she started flying. So she has herself a Carbon Z Cub, and she's gone up from the S Cub version, and she's still, I still put her on the buddy box because she's not completely there yet, but
right.
I'm impressed with her ability, and I think she finally gave in. It was like, if you can't beat them, join them.
Bingo.
So it's good. It's a good time. We dragged the dogs along with us and stuff, and it's nice to meet everybody and new people and hang out at the fields. And that's what we do. We live the RC life every weekend or every week we possibly can. And we meet tons of cool people along the way. And the YouTube thing is just a short extension of that. And I almost wish that instead of more of the build videos, I just share more of what goes on there. But we cook out on the Traeger a ton. We fly a ton and sit around and BS around the fire and drink a ton. So
just living the good life, man. Some people have it made, Jeff. You see? Some people just have it made. Some people just been living right, and it all falls together for them.
One day when I grow up, I want to be like you guys.
I
just, especially this guy here, right? He is like my idol, Mr.
He's
Good
a cool
Hair.
Dude. He's got great hair.
He
has good hair. We can definitely give him that. And he's got it nicely salt and peppered.
I don't know, Jeff. Women probably don't hoard planes. Hey, speaking of hoarding planes,
what's up?
Told you guys I ordered it last week on the show.
He's got
it come in, and we're going to see how it goes together.
Yeah, I need you to crack that open over there. By the way, Jeff, I got a little Horizon Hobby Cherokee 1.3 that we're going to have to take a look at. And Jeff, you're going to love that plane. You know why?
Check this out. Look right here.
What?
Look
am I looking
at the screen. Look at the screen.
All right.
How did he ask about it 10 minutes ago,
Randall.
5 minutes ago, and then you got it today?
You know what, dude? We're here for the people. We give them what they want. We do what we can. There you go. There you go, man.
Good-looking little planes, man.
Honestly, I think
that
it
one's
is
a good-looking plane for sure. That's an early morning flyer. That one's the one we fly in the PJs. That and the Cirrus, the SR22. We sit out there and have competition in the chair with a cup of coffee in the morning and see who can clip weeds with them. It's great.
And look, this thing has lights on it. It's got lights, flaps, panel lines, a pilot, and more. So what more could you ask out of a piece of foam that flies, Pretty good.
I've never flown that plane, but I just love the way they look.
You know what? Here's the funniest thing. So I learned how to fly nitro planes on a Great Plains Cherokee. It was a little burgundy airplane with white, a balsa plane. I learned how to fly on that thing, man. It was awesome. It had flaps. That was my introduction to flaps and ailerons and everything, man. Love it. Love it. What you got there, Jeff? What you cracking open, buddy?
All right, y'all give me grief every week about the AL-37 that's still boxed up.
Brendan, what do you think about that, man? Don't you think that's airplane abuse?
Crime.
It is a crime. I told him.
Now that arrows, that's I got a special place in my heart for and it kills everybody. I call it my Bayhawk because that's the way I feel about that. But BAE. It's all good.
It's my Bay.
It's special, but that one is on the list. I love planes that size that are just no trouble. You take them with you, throw them in the car, throw them wherever in the trunk, and they're fun to take out and rip around on. But that one, I like the look of that one a lot.
I got the pleasure to fly this plane at the Freeze Your Tail Feathers Off event in Sanford. Chad Shue had it. In the meantime, I was like, for a little plane, man, it flies great. But Bobby, look at this little thing, man. There's nothing to it, dude.
I know, dude. It's just it's a little phone rocket, man. I mean, what more do you want? And then look, it's a little 50 mil too, man. That's awesome.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. The finish is not bad at all.
Really? And what did that set you back,
Jeff?
The
gyro, they were $160.
It comes with the gyro?
Well, what is that thing called?
The Reflex V2?
No, it's their own.
Who is that made by?
Vectors. Arrows, Hobby Arrows. Arrows Hobby.
Wow, man. Dude, you might actually make me buy one of those. As I'm transitioning back into balsa, it's really hard to break away from foam because it's just so easy. There's time, if you have little kids, you don't have a lot of time, man, to build at the field. So something like that's good.
Arrows Vector Gyro Stabilization System.
And that's a whole bunch of words for just a gyro.
Pretty good, man.
So, Brendan, what do you think, man? What do you think of the direction that this hobby is going, man? Do you like it? Do you think it should be going in a different? In your world, what would be the perfect balance for the hobby between balsa foam? I mean, what do you think?
I mean, I grew up in the days of stick building and balsa.
Yeah,
My grandfather was a big influencer to me, but he scratch built stuff. You know, you get some sticks and you follow some plans out of RC Modeler magazine, and you go over to
yeah,
Kinko's and they blow the stuff up, and that's how he started off. And it would blow his mind, the technology that we have today, and the ability that we have to do, to do anything we want with an airplane is just absolutely amazing. But I love the balsa stuff a lot. That was kind of how I found Gator. I was looking for balsa warbirds and couldn't find them anywhere. And it was like, it's all dead because the Great Plains stuff is gone, and the
right.
Tower hobbies and Horizon hobbies was kind of limited, and what they had just didn't fit what I was looking for. And then I found their site with Seagull models and stuff, and the other Maxford lines and Top RC model that they had. And that was really cool. And then you found a couple other sites as you start looking around with the stuff. And I still think the balsa stuff is the way to go, but it's
Yeah,
not for everybody. But the
yep,
cool thing about this hobby is that it is blown up in such different proportions where you got something for everybody now. So a guy that's not in the building that just likes the foam stuff is Jeff's over there, and he'll have that plane put together in 5 to 10 minutes, probably take him another half an hour to program it, but 5 to 10
right.
minutes and you're ready to go. And that fits the bill for a lot of people. Some people still love scratch building, and it takes them 3 years to build a plane, and they're great builders and just not great flyers, and then you have other
Yep.
people that
Hey,
can
I
throw
know
something
some of
together
them.
and fly the piss out of something,
Yeah.
and it's just, but they couldn't build a plane. So
The
I think
lost
right
art
now
of
we have
plane
so many
building.
great options in this hobby to fit the bill. But
Yeah.
the foam stuff is good. It just doesn't fly the same, but it's getting harder and harder to find a price balance with the skilled labor it takes to put something together. I see
Yes.
a lot of balsa planes that come through the market that are better than I would ever be able to build them. And you have to appreciate that. And you can't until you actually build one yourself or a few yourself and
Yep.
realize that, okay, so they want $700 for some balsa and some plastic to cover it. But the skilled labor it takes to get it to that point is well worth the price of admission.
It's very meticulous. I couldn't have said it better myself, man. And you don't have an appreciation of that until you actually build one yourself. And that's the thing. There's just something to be said that when you build a balsa airplane, you put it together. It's a bunch of sticks. You drop your electronics in it. You put it together. You fly it, man. There's a sense of like accomplishment like no other. Especially when you get up there, you do your maiden, it's successful. You bring it down, dude. It's just a good feeling. And
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. There's nothing like that maiden adrenaline rush.
yep.
We don't do drugs, but that's close.
I'm telling you.
Especially when you get some of these guys, you get a turbine jet or something, you got 30 grand into one. I haven't gotten there yet. I
No,
don't know if I ever will.
I don't think
But
I will unless somebody gives it to me.
everybody still gets that same feeling because they fly. I was given good advice a long time ago. Don't fly what you can't afford to crash.
Right.
So we all fly at that ragged edge of that $200 model to that $3,000 model, and it gives us all the same feeling.
Yep. Hey, Jeff's Custom said, "Dang right, Brendan. You're absolutely right, man. It's true."
Jeff, I don't want to hear it. Not to cut you off there, but Jeff, I don't want to hear it. It's too cold to go fly that AL. I made my AL. There was literally ice frozen to the landing gear on the bottom of the wing. So
now,
I'm gonna start talking to you like I talked to Che. You guys are used to flying in that negative 15-degree
dude,
weather. Us
hey,
Southern guys down here, man, it's got to be like,
dude, what was it today? It was 83 today.
Yeah,
it was like 83 degrees today, man. We're just
nice.
we're not built for that cold stuff. We can't do it.
I shot a video not too long ago. I don't even remember what one it was. I remember my buddy that does the camera work for me. It was -5 on the climate control driving out there, and he asked me if we were some kind of retarded, and I said slightly. But, we got to the field and we had a good time. And somebody had made a comment in the video. They're like, there's no way it's that cold. You would be, have smoke coming out while you were talking and stuff. And it's like, no, we dress for it. We bring generators. We run space heaters, the turbo propane heaters and stuff. So you dress warm and you keep your fingers warm. And, you learn how to deal with it if you want to fly.
And that's why he goes by Plain Crazy. Plain and simple, guys. He'll fly in any type of weather whatsoever. I mean, like I said, us guys down here, Lee Davidson Hanger, he's right. We don't know cold down here, but I can tell you what we consider cold. Anything less than 40 degrees. Anything less than 40 is cold to us.
These guys are like, haha, you chumps.
yeah, we are. We're soft as could be when it comes down to that. But we got you guys beat in the heat, because the heat down here, we'll be down in it. It'll be like 100 and something degrees. It's terrible on the airplanes. It's so hot that it bogs down the engines, like in our gas planes and in our nitro planes. It's crazy.
That's it,
but I guess the advantage electric there, huh?
Mm-hmm. The power is so linear that you don't have to worry about. That's what I like. But then you got to worry about lipos getting hot and all this other stuff. So let's see here. Let's see. Prop Lord FPV says, I fly in any weather. I'm with you. Oh, look at that's Mason over there. I see you, dude. Nice. I like that, Prop Lord. All right, Jeff, go ahead, buddy. What you got?
What you talking about, Willis?
You got it together.
Oh, that's it, brother. Like Brendan said, 5 minutes. And
are you going to be able to see it?
Sure.
Wow, man, that thing's small. But they said somebody in the room said on 4S it does 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, I wouldn't surprise me, man. After flying Chads, I was like, I got to have me one of them little guys.
Well, I have a friend that has the Viper and he loves it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. By the way,
get you one, booby.
I might have to do that. Me and Jeff actually had the opportunity to fly the E-Flight Viper 70 millimeter. Awesome airplane. Very good flying airplane. And here's the problem there, Brendan, is that the bridge between foam and balsa in flight characteristics are getting blurred very, very well. It's amazing. This isn't the foam back in the day that we started out with. Like this stuff, these airplanes are flying so much better. Granted, they're throwing gyros in them, but it's getting very, very blurred. What do you think?
Have you had a chance? So you mentioned the 70 mil Viper. Have you flown the 90 mil Viper yet?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I have it. Yeah.
I just got it. I love it.
That is by far hands down. And I'm not, going to speak one way or another to a Motion RC or an E-Flight or Horizon. I got no ties to any of them. So it is what it is. But that 90 mil Viper has a flight envelope that is well beyond 99% of any pilot's ability. I mean, it will literally do anything you want it to, and it does it well. But the thing is that it's so much improved over the 70 mil Viper. Somebody finally took a decent plane and just made it a fantastic plane.
Yeah.
And that's the one foam plane I've come across in my time that I will stockpile an extra one or two just because it is that good. And the FMS Bayhawk, I decided to sell one I got in a box. We have a flea market coming up by us in 2 weeks, and I gave a bunch that I had to a buddy. And that Bayhawk was a favorite of mine, an absolute favorite of mine.
Yeah,
but after flying that Viper, the envelope is unlimited with that. When you're doing outside loops with a 90 mil foam plane, the thing tracks in a 4-point roll perfectly, and it has a flight envelope like a glider. It's hard to beat that. And I do agree. I mean, that bridges a lot of the lines of a well-built balsa plane. They're not all that way, but there's a few that are starting to figure it out, and they're finally listening.
You're over here like crushing my manhood here. Like I'm thinking I could fly planes, and he's like, nope, it's the plane.
It is. That airplane literally flies itself. It makes it. It doesn't fly itself, but it makes it so much easier on the pilot. I mean,
it's a great. That is like my go-to bird. I mean,
Jeff went out there and flew 7-8 lipos in a row.
Yeah.
Just
one right after the other.
That's one of the ones that when you start to amass a hangar or basement, in my case, full of planes, it gets to be hard because you only have so much room and so much daylight.
Right.
And you're like, you feel bad for leaving certain planes behind anymore. But that Viper is always the first one now that I grab that goes out the door. And, when it comes to gas planes, I have a lot of great gas planes that I love. And I see the same ones getting left behind. And you have to start asking yourself, why?
Yep.
Why do I keep going to that other one? Why do I keep going to that Zero and taking it out? And you realize you don't want to call them your baby favorites, but they're your baby favorites.
Absolutely, man. And it's like you got a special place for them, but you don't want to let them go either. So they just become hanger queens.
All right,
absolutely.
Speaking of favorites, what is your favorite jet? and prop plane
Favorite
that you
jet
have like right now, like in your hangar
that I own.
That you own. What would be your favorite jet and favorite prop plane?
So I'm eclectic for a lot of reasons. I love variety of stuff. I typically don't stick with one thing. I've tried a lot of planes that I thought I would like because I go with stuff that's different. There'll be something coming out really cool from Gator probably in the next couple months, and that thing's different. And I hope people like it as much as I will. But that one's going to be really cool. So number one, the best jet's the Viper. That one's hands down. If anyone says, "Hey, what's a great beginner plane?" The Viper. What's a great advanced level plane? The Viper. What's the best flying EDF? The Viper.
Yeah.
And if anyone, they want to argue about why it is, the video I did on that, when you can do big barrel rolls from a complete stall turn, 50 feet off the deck, try that with any other EDF and see how that fares out. And the Avanti pales in comparison just a little bit, just because of the landing gear issue. It can still fly low and slow, but you have to be a much more capable pilot, I think, to get it to the same level. So the Viper is hands down in the EDF market. When it comes down to prop planes,
that's a loaded question. Yeah,
different categories.
Okay, all right. So prop gas, prop electric.
Okay.
Okay, and then we could do
prop gas is always a winner.
Yeah.
Always a winner. Prop gas is always a winner. So I have a 122-inch Super Decathlon with a Cortex Pro gyro and a holy smoke system sitting at home with a DA 100 stuffed within 2 millimeters of the inside of the cowl.
So, hey, I was going to say that's not a 100cc airplane.
No, it ain't. It's a 60 to an 80.
Yeah.
But if you can figure out how to get stuff in there just right and make it look good, let's go for it.
Hey,
so that thing ought to basically pull the firewall right out. I haven't flown it yet, so that one may top the list. But my Zero, and that one's a Seagulls model Giant Scale Zero. That one takes the cake. It is a pattern flying Zero. It flies that well.
Wow.
So that one it fits the Warbird scheme. But in the regular kind of gas prop plane, I have a Carf hybrid that I made a campfire deal with a friend one night. He had won it at a raffle at a flying event and decided he wasn't going to put it together. So this hybrid was Pilot. The company Pilot makes the wings and stabs for it.
Pilot RC.
And Carf made the fuselage. So they came together, two great companies, to make a culmination of a few of these planes. No directions. They made a handful of them. They looked fabulous. They quit making them. And he wasn't going to build it. So we were sitting at the campfire one night. Some moonshine was involved, a couple text messages, and I had a Carf hybrid over at my doorstep the next morning at my RV. So that thing, I put a Stinger 85 belt-driven gear reduction system in it and made that 12S. That is by far the nicest airplane that I have and one of the most true flying planes. But I was really surprised with a Seagulls Model 330 LX, 85-inch wingspan on that, I believe that was. That thing flies good. So that's close, and it's not Carf status, but it is very close. Foam prop planes, I have that Cirrus, that E-Flight Cirrus. It's my morning go-to when everybody's still sleeping and you want to go out in your pajamas at the fly-in field and get a couple flights in at 6 a.m. before you make breakfast.
Your chair flyer.
Yeah, man.
That is the chair flyer. I drag the chair out there. I sit there. I bring 3 battery packs with me, and I'll get 40 minutes of flying before anyone else wakes up. And it's the best time too.
That sounds peaceful as heck, man. Golly.
Bobby, your turn.
All right. Well, before I jump in, Tug Hill RC says, "How does the Viper 90mm do on grass fields?"
Great,
Brendan. I'll let you answer it. It's wonderful.
It's nothing. No, that thing got power for days, and that grass could be thick, it could be high, you could be sucking it in like a weed whacker. It don't care.
It launches. It literally launches. All right, Brendan, got a question for you, dude. Everybody comes on the channel that we have as a guest. We have to ask this question. But how did you get into the hobby? What was your story, man?
I was, as I grew up, my grandfather was into it, and this goes back into the early 80s. As I said, he started stick building, scratch building, and I never had any interest in it, like none. I did RC cars for a long time. I did rockets with the kids when they were really little, and you run around like acres chasing stupid $3 rockets is crazy. But at some point, I just decided to be like, you know what? I need a hobby. The motorcycle thing was dying off for me, and I'm like, I want to try planes. And it was. I got a couple years with my grandfather before he passed away. I was just learning. Got some of his scratch build airplanes, and they still sit in my basement. I fly them from time to time, and they'll be there forever. Those things will never go anywhere. But he was kind of the inspiration to get into it, and then once you get your hands on the sticks and you start having fun with people, you get stuck, and you're never getting out of it, because it is such an amazing hobby with fantastic people. For me, it's more about the people, the food, the good time, and really the flying becomes secondary.
It's funny too, and I've said this numerous times, but I haven't met, well, I can't say it now, but I've met a very small number in the single digits of people I did not care for in this hobby. Like normally, everybody I've met is actually pretty decent people, man. I just have never met anybody that's, that I didn't like, where I couldn't sit around and we talk airplane stuff with. So,
Yeah, absolutely. It is for sure a brotherhood, and we all share the same passion, and we're always looking to help each other. And so many times when I go to an event, I have to travel 10 hours, 8 hours, 6 hours, whatever it is. So I pack like a woman, I pretty much will bring the hobby shop with me. And so many times I'll be walking by and somebody's sticking their head in their airplane, and they're like, oh man, now I can't fly today. And they're like from a block away. It's a local field. I'm like, what's the matter, man? What do you need? And he's like, I don't have this E-clip, or I'm missing this wire, or I need a connector. I'm like, oh, I got something, and I just go into the trailer and drag it out, and, whatever I can do to help people, we enjoy it. And, everybody's really appreciative, and everybody's going to help everybody if they have the opportunity. So for sure. And, we all have something in common. So it's easy conversation amongst us.
Yep. And we've met people at our field from all different walks of life, ages. I mean, people from Colombia and all across the world, man. And it's like all that stuff is very neat. But when it comes down to like our hobby, it just blends everybody together. And I know that sounds corny and cheesy, but it's the truth.
Cool.
You know?
Oh yeah, for sure. How did you guys get involved?
Jeff, how'd you get involved, dude?
Oh, that's a loaded question. So I started built my first plane in 9th grade in electronics class. I built my first one and I crashed my first one. The class actually built the plane and I ended up crashing it, but it's okay. You live and you learn. And I've kind of been hooked ever since. I took a hiatus for a little while. First plane that I flew solo was a Hobbyco Superstar EP tail dragger. Little, what is that, a 380 size brushed motor? Might have been a 550, 500 size series brushed motor. Had the long antenna coming out of the back, 3-channel, nothing special. And then I just flew for, throughout high school. And then when I graduated high school, went to college, I quit flying because I was a broke college kid. And I'm still broke, but you're not
a kid anymore.
And this hobby will always be.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
I bought back in like 2012 or 13, I bought a Fly Zone Cessna and a Fly Zone 350 Corvallis, and flying them with probably this receiver right here that I've had forever, AR 6100, like a retard. And yeah. And they went down both within 50 feet of each other, and I was like, I gave up. And then I met Bobby, 3 years ago? 2.5 years ago?
Yeah, we're running up on it, yeah.
I had...
At the hobby shop.
I was building a Tamiya semi-truck. And I was just like, man, you got to have an 8-channel radio to run all the stuff on it. And I was like, all right, well, heck, I've got the radio. Let's start with some planes. So then I started buying planes again, and it's been a black abyss ever since.
I turned him into gas planes, and he's just gone shot off like a rocket. They can't get big enough for him.
No, I burnt my leg with nitro years ago when the slashes were first coming around T-Max.
Yes.
And I had put I had a SIG Cadet LT40 that had OS 46 on it. Once the wings come off of it, I sold the plane and I got out of it. And then, like I said, till I met Bobby, a few years ago, got back in it. It's been just consume my life. I've got an enclosed trailer just for all the airplane stuff. And we're talking about heat. You got heaters and everything. I've got a heater in my trailer, man. It'll run you out of there. Bobby's been in there. It'll run you out.
It was like 20 degrees or 30 degrees outside, and it's like 70 something in the trailer. I'm like, what is going on here?
Melt the paint off the walls on the outside.
Pretty much.
It was nice. Hey, look, Flyride is in the house. Check that out.
Oh, yeah. We got Flyride RC in here. We've got a bunch of good people in here, too. By the way, guys, before I answer your question, Brendan, guys, don't forget to check out his channel. Playing Crazy. He's been around for a while. Lots of good content, lots of good builds. If you're thinking about getting outside of foam airplanes and you want to get into something better and expand your RC portfolio, dude, try Balsa. Try it.
Check out Jeff.
Yep. Check out Brendan's videos, and man, I'm telling you, it's going to be some good stuff. Brendan, there you go. Fire away, sir.
So we went with the Motion RC version for sure on the PJ.
Yeah, same here.
There's a reason for it. It's not based off the looks. It's based off the functionality. I'll fix the looks. Yeah. The functionality of the landing gear, I think, is going to be better. And I fly off of grass, and it's a little bumpy. It's not real thick, so it's perfectly ideal because it's actually a farm field runway. So it's mostly packed down shale with some weeds. So that's just enough to keep the dirt down. But I think Motion has a better track there on the landing gear when it comes down to that stuff. I do agree the looks lack a little bit. The 1/2 inch, to some women matters. To me, it's good. I'm okay with it.
Right, Jeff?
So the wingspan is okay, but I'm all right with size wise on that, and I think Motion builds a lot of great products. I have a lot of their planes from the F-14 to the A-10 to the ALs in the builds. But no, if you got that AL in a box is sitting in there, you ought to be ashamed of yourself.
I said it. I mean, honestly,
it's not painted yet and out there flying, and it's even worse that Jeff has one painted and dolled up, and it's a hanger queen. Hanger queens don't count. They don't hit the air, and there's no flight photos. I don't care how much you detail it, brother.
Get them, Brandon. Get them, because they should know better. I told Jeff. Jeff did all this whining and crying, wanting my airplane for a long time, my AL-37 for over a year. He goes and buys one, and guess what it does? It just sits in the box. I'm like, I don't understand. I'm just like, whatever, man. That's airplane abuse, by the way. I'll go ahead and put that out there.
Airplane abuse?
Yeah, that's airplane abuse.
Customizing queen. I have one that I'm building now for a guy. I did a Florida Gators version for rcpilot.com. Michael Kranitz a little while ago. I finished that one up, and that was just the version that he wanted, and we just found a way to make his scheme work. And it's not flashy, but it turned out to be a really nice plane. But the one I'm working on now for a guy is a Marvels themed plane that is just going to knock socks off. This thing is going to be absolutely stunning. It's a fantasy scheme, so it's not like you're going to see another one out there like it. And the techniques that are involved, I've been working on for a long time.
That's kind of where I'm at, man. I don't know the livery I want to go with. And
I have a buddy with that problem. Yeah, there is. And when I built the Toy Story version, it's really cool because there's the pilot that flies that plane reached out to me and sent me pictures of it. The guy that painted it reached out to me. And, I've made good friends all across the world with this hobby. And like, when else, where else, how else would you been able to do stuff like that? So, it's great. I can't wait to get a hold of the PJ and fly it, but I got that Super Decathlon that's really itching me right now. I got to get that thing. I got to get that up in the air.
Jeff said that's my problem too, so I'm telling you, man, all that good stuff. Let's see. Snow Valley said, who has really cool alternative planes is Aloft Hobbies. They actually do have some pretty decent stuff there. I've run through there a couple of times. Yep. It's just like the pool of good planes is getting a little small, but I have hope that it's getting a little better. I was worried about a year ago when they had the big Horizon Hobby and Tower Hobby thing go down, but I'm still hurting that hangar non-airplanes aren't, where they were. And the Great Plains, tons of Great Plain airplane ARFs that they used to make, man, you can't get them anymore. And that hurts my soul because they make some really good airplanes.
And they had so many and so many different sizes. So whether you were glow or now with the electric blowing up the way it did, all the electric conversions you could have put in those little planes, they didn't have to be glow anymore. And they had budgets. I remember the old Tower Hobbies catalog. You know, you would go through all the pages and you would like, oh, there's like 4 models that I really like. Yeah. You just don't have that anymore. And now like Gator, when I first started dealing with them, they used to have like, you know, page after page after page that you had so many models to choose from. Now they've
what's up, Riley?
We've blown that up, and they'll sell out of the container before the container's even hitting there. And I saw an email they sent out, and they're like, one of this left, one of this left, one of this left, one of this left. So it's almost like if you want a balsa plane, they've become in such demand, you really got to get on a waiting list.
Yeah.
And you got to mark your spot long before they ever get there. And there's just not enough skilled labor to keep up with the demand, containers, you know, the price of them and everything else. And as long as people are still building products that we want, we really can't complain about what the price is, because if you really want it, doesn't matter what the price is, you're going to pay for it. And that's respective to everybody's budget. You know, at the time that we quit buying stuff is the only time that things are going to come down in value. It's just the way it is.
Yep. I would agree. So like, which brings me to this, you know, Brendan. So all the rights and the license to all those Great Plain airplanes, where'd they go? You know, where are they sitting? You know, and I'm surprised some other companies haven't looked at those licenses and tried to buy them and put them in production. You know.
Yeah, and I think like I'm really curious to see SIG. I mean, SIG was a big player in all of that for a while, and SIG is still building some Seagulls models planes. Like they have a weird relationship where you can kind of see it, but I thought SIG was just going to blow up into their own company again. But it doesn't seem like they're going to do that. So I don't know there, but I would love to see more of the balsa players come back in. And I know that I had talked to Alpha from Motion RC a while ago, and I know that they have such a cool EDF foam market.
Yeah.
But, you know, and he's like, my conversation with him is like, well, what do you think would be a dream plane? Well, there's a lot of great big planes out there, but they're still foam planes. Throw a couple 80, 90 mil balsa EDFs back out in the market where people that want to grow out of that EDF foam market can still stay in EDFs without going turbine, but get into some balsa locked in, better flying, still lightweight planes that just want a little more of a better flying quality plane than some of the foam ones. Some of the foam ones are really, really good and locked in, but there's a lot that missed the mark.
Yeah, I will say for me personally, my opinion of Motion RC's planes are they're at the top tier. I mean,
they are.
Their landing gear, the quality, having parts readily available. I mean, you just don't normally get that. So I have a whole slew
and they're
of
priced
airplanes.
Right. And that's the big thing. Is they're not price gouging you for if you need a stabilizer, you need a retract. You know, we may not look at all of these things as the greatest, most robust quality, but if you can fly the stuff, land the stuff, and take care of the stuff, it does work and it lasts a long time. But when you go and buy stuff from them, they don't price gouge, and that's what I love. You can get your model back up into the air at a very fair price. When it comes down to a lot of the Horizon hobby stuff, I've had some winners, I've had some misses. The 70 mil Viper was a neat plane. It had its issues, but like I said earlier, they really locked it down when they built that 90 and fixed all them issues. That is literally the most trouble-free, best flying plane that I got. But it fits only certain needs. It's not, doesn't have the Warbird kind of feel to it, and it's not got a huge. When you see an F-14 sweep wing go up the field, you're like, oh, look at that. When you see the 90 mil Viper, you're like, well, I've seen 50 of them, but they both fly very different. Every plane they have flies different. So
I have a ton of them, and that's what I tell my wife. She's like, why do you have so many airplanes? I'm like, they all fly different. And they're awesome. They're all really good. They handle the grass well too. It seems like Motion RC keeps in mind about us grass flyers. Me and Jeff fly off grass. You fly off grass. So having really good, retracts is important. It's very important. So larger wheels. So it seems like they keep that in mind. I've had a couple of FMS models where, nothing against FMS, a lot of them are very good, but I've had that 110, their first generation one, that V1. And the landing gear ripped right on out. And I'm like, I didn't even do anything, so you'll have that. But and they've come out with the V2 where they rectified everything. So it's all good.
Yeah,
But
I don't mind version 2 and 3 if you're making improvements and making it better. People like planes because that fits the bill for them. It fits their flying style, their taste in colors, their taste in sizing, whatever it is they like about it. There's something about it they like, but you can tweak a couple things and make it better. You don't need to remake a mold on everything and jack the price up to be $900. I understand how all that stuff works, but go ahead and make a couple changes to it. E-Flight has the Carbon Z T28 Trojan, right? One of the best prop flying foam planes that I've probably flown, but it has a couple major flaws to it. All they have to do, and I know that they did a survey recently and it was lopsided that the T28 would be the best plane to re-release, fix the retracts, put a couple lights in the damn thing, and it's going to be phenomenal.
That's my biggest thing is lights, man. I love a set of lights on a plane because
it's corny, ain't it? We don't even fly them at night. I want to see something.
But I do. Like I fly till dark. I don't have a problem doing that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And it just lights adds characteristic to the plane. I've got the T28. Bobby's got the T28, the Carbon Z's. And I'll tell you, man, I've had 2 different models, 2 different ones. I haven't had any issues at a landing gear like everybody likes to complain about.
I haven't either. They're just wire.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Are people ripping them out? Are they landing and bouncing wrong or what?
No, my issue is the gear don't come up. The gear stalls out. And Jeff from Jeff's Custom RC actually did a really good video on it. I never did one. And he explained the things really well, but from new that just the gears amp out and the gear doesn't come up all the way. It hangs there. So I rectified it by taking off, flipping inverted, then putting the gear in, because you use the weight of the gear to suck itself right into the wing. And then you went back to normal flight and it was good. That thing lands like a baby. And I didn't have any issues either with tearing gear up or bending things or anything else. But to me, it was the amping out feature. And you can fix that by doing some very simple mods. But, most people can't and don't want to get into breadboard soldering. So, I just think it's a simple fix for them by putting in a retract controller and a separate wire for a battery source, power source off of the LiPo. It's an easy fix. The linkage was a bad idea on that. But again, that's a cheap, easy fix, but it's a fantastic plane. You want to fly. I put a set of amazing de Havilland Beaver lights in it. So it has leading edge lights on that thing that blink like this when the gear comes down. And I got those from Dave's RC Electronics, but they're really big 10 millimeter lights and dress that plane up a lot. So as it gets dusk, like you were saying, Jeff, I'll put the flaps down. And that thing, you can just bob up and down over the runway like this and do some big stall turns at 12 feet with the lights on. It is a gorgeous plane to fly at that time, for sure.
Jeff was going to sell his airplane. I was like, dude, why are you going to sell? That's like the best flying foam airplane of that size.
That's where you say, that's fine. Sell it. I'll buy it.
Yeah, I should.
It's for sale. Like, it's on there now.
I still don't know why he's trying to sell it. It's one of those planes you should have one of those.
Sale. That'd be the one you regret selling.
Yeah, he will.
I'll be honest with you. I prefer the 150 Cessna over the T28.
It doesn't fly nearly as good as the T28.
The Cessna
with the nose gear or without the nose gear?
With the nose gear.
Yeah, he likes the tricycle. I have the
He's got the T.
The T, yeah.
And I've got the tricycle. And man, that is my chair flyer. Like, I can sit there and I can do one wheel touch and goes all freaking day long.
And your nose gear is held up on that one.
Nose gear's fine.
It has, actually, yeah.
Nose gear's fine.
So, okay, Brendan, do you think that they're going to bring back the larger T28 and they're going to put all that smart equipment in it? And if so, what are your thoughts of that whole process? I don't even know what radio you run. What do you normally run?
Proprietary equipment. I'm not into proprietary equipment.
Yeah.
I like data. I think data drives things. It drives me insane to see people say, well, this is the best battery in the world because I fly it. I fly a lot of SMC batteries, and it's not because I like the way they fly, but when your camera guy goes, holy crap, that plane's quicker with that battery, it says something because it's a noticeable difference. But I fly a lot of Jetty telemetry stuff anymore, and you get data to support your feelings, and now they're not your feelings, now they're facts. But Spectrum with the telemetry stuff, I really thought I was going to go with the NX transmitters, and they have the ticker tape data that comes across the bottom.
Yeah.
You really need black box data. I had a plane go down that wound up being a cold battery issue, a LiPo. They were sitting out. I thought they'd be okay. The voltage crashed on and caused the plane to lose power or go down. And when I went and picked it up, everything was fine. So I was like, I don't know what I lost, but I could go back through all that data and find out exactly under full throttle where the voltage dropped off, test the batteries. Batteries tested fine. I know it was a cold battery issue about 30 seconds of flight in where it started to get up high and get cold. So I was able to find that data. With the Spectrum stuff in the NX, I was hoping that they would bring that black box data because now they can pull that telemetry out of all of their smart technology. They just don't. And maybe one day they'll get there, but they really missed the boat on that one. And the big one is the milliamp hours used, because that's key for anybody that wants telemetry. That's number one on the list. It's not a timer. You know, everybody's flying styles are different. So like that 90 mil Viper, if I cruise around and have a good time with that, I can push 5 minutes out of it, out of a 5,300 pack. Now, if you're just a turn and burn and punch holes in the sky guy, you're going to get 3.5 minutes. And either way is cool. That's fine. But I want telemetry to tell me when it's time to land, not a timer that's not suited to your flying style. So the smart batteries, version 1, version 2, you're paying for a lot of technology, a lot of engineering, the connector pins that don't jive with a lot of other stuff. You know, I'm doing a project for a guy right now, and I'm looking at that pin going, what am I supposed to do with this? So I'm not into the proprietary stuff. I like what works and what makes sense, and I don't like paying for the proprietary stuff. I like to see what functions for us for a lot of reasons. And to me personally, it doesn't fit my bill. For some people, it works out really, really well. Not for everybody.
I would agree, man.
Look at that stuff right there. That's it.
Oh, look at that. Oh, wow. Look at that, dude.
Dude, that's got to be a pain in the neck to wire up.
No, believe it or not, it's super, super simple. The guy gives you an absolute ton of wire so you can make a connector. And
I like the
use Hanson
wigwags.
Hobbies. Yeah. Hanson Hobbies connectors in there so you can just cut that wire wherever you want. And you just take a razor blade and run it right down that wing at a seam. And then you can just tuck the wire right in, punch the LEDs out through the tips, and they look gorgeous. You could really hide them really well in that big T28.
Man, that's awful tempting right there, Bobby.
That's some good stuff,
and it doesn't
man.
break the bank. The controller and the lights are very reasonable from Dave.
It's like $85.
Yep.
And that's not bad at all, to be honest.
You're going to see them in the middle of the day, I'll promise you. And at night, at dusk time, they're going to really dress up that Carbon Z. You won't want to sell it.
Man, what else do we got that don't have lights, Bobby?
I don't know. We stopped buying airplanes that didn't have lights because we were like, why doesn't it have lights? Don't these manufacturers realize this is a very big selling point? It's a very
it's going to drive the price of the
do.
plane up $10. We ain't.
And you know, and we're the same people.
$10.
I was getting ready to say we'll buy the $10 airplane plus, you know, what it's worth if it has lights in it, you know. So it's just a better airplane. It makes it more fun to fly. But
Absolutely.
Brendan, got one more question. Well, not one more. I got another one.
Yeah, you shoot as many as you want, my man.
All right. Well, here we go from the hip. Boom. If you could only own one airplane, what would it be? You only got one, man. And I saw how many airplanes you got in your hangar, so I know this is difficult, but dig away, sir. Dig away.
There's only one.
Only one. Only one.
He's writing it down.
Yeah. I like how he processes this.
I'm scratching. That's like going to the Playboy Mansion and saying you get just one.
Exactly. You're like, but I want them all.
I really wish I'd flown this decathlon, because I would say that would be it. But right now, out of my stockpile, it's my Carf. It would be my 12S Carf.
Man, so I bet that's a good flying airplane too, and it can do anything.
It is true. I'm not a great 3D pilot. I'm a less than average 3D pilot.
Me too.
And that's mainly because I'm a budget flying 3D pilot. So depending on my budget is how high or low I fly that thing. And I don't like crashing nothing. So I usually do anything high enough that I can bail out of any mistakes that I make. So that doesn't make me a good 3D pilot. But with that being said, that plane's locked in. It flies true. I got a lot of great quality equipment on the inside of that one. And that one was the one I was just like, whatever it takes to make that thing fly well is what I'm going to do. And I like that one a lot because it'll fly aerobatics, but it does really well with 3D. But on a 12S system in that, I can fly that plane 12 minutes. And it has a power to weight ratio of almost a true 2-to-1.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So that's just ballistic, unreal power.
Yeah, and the sound is very unique too. And I have that set up on a throttle up switch, so it runs just like a gas engine at a constant RPM, and it prevents the power draw of going from low to high throttle because it always has a constant RPM to it of 600-700 RPM. So you're only ever accelerating up to there, and you're not wasting battery power trying to go from 0 up. So a lot of the bigger prop electric stuff, I usually use idle up switches, and it helps with landings as well because it gives you a constant airspeed coming in. You're not guessing if the props, windmilling or freewheeling or, are you going faster? You're not, because the prop is slowing it down to a constant speed. But that plane is just, it's dynamite. I did a lot of things to that to make it true as I built it. And I'm really happy with the end quality. Sad part is they don't make that stuff anymore. So I have a lot of planes. I still have the Great Plains Pit Special that I like. I don't fly all that often, but I do at times. That Carf. There's just a lot of one-off stuff that I have. I have a BME Yak. That's a 50cc Yak. BME went out 18 years ago, but that's a really nice flying true plane. So
yeah,
there's like I said, there's a lot that get left behind, unfortunately. But I have a couple that I just absolutely love anymore. And the more you add to your hangar, the harder it gets to continue to take all the stuff to the field, because you're going to spend a day putting it together when you get there, and you lose good flying time.
That's why. Oh, I got a knife in my hand. So,
yeah. Talk about planes more.
Yeah, that's sick. So that's the whole reason I bought a trailer, because Bobby, I love you, Bobby. But Brendan, Bobby shows up to the field. He's got 5 airplanes in his truck, and they're all in pieces. And so when Bobby's done flying, it takes him half hour to tear down the planes.
Yeah, probably about 20 or 30 minutes. Yeah.
And I'll hang the plane put together, even except for my big Skywing, but the Cessna.
We're doing that.
Stuff, I'll leave them, put them in the trailer, and I can pull them out and go fly.
Oh, we're doing that, Jeff. We're doing that. Yeah. Also, Jeff, why don't you tell them the times where you forget to lock those things down and you go down the road?
I said I love you, Bobby. I really did.
No, hey, dude.
They call that scrap trailer at that point.
Exactly.
And I have had a couple jets tumble off, because I forgot to strap them down. Yep, you're correct.
Hey, don't feel bad. I've done it in the back of my truck, and I hear something moving around. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah. I throw the Traeger back there. So the Traeger is the first thing that goes in, right? And then the bucket of pellets is next. Generator follows it. So we have power for that thing, and we have food. That's most important. And then I have a pretty good rack system, and I'll bring planes with me. So if I ever have to make a point to guys that have trailers, or they have the ability to have multiple planes or carry multiple planes, quit fixing stuff at the field. That's why you bring 5 planes with you. Don't waste your
That's my rule.
Fixing stuff. If it ain't right, if it's not flying well that day, or it's not working out with an adjustment, put it away. Yep. Save it for at home. Save it for another day. I see too many guys crash planes because they want to fiddle with them at the field. The field's for flying. Do a quick tune, a quick adjust, and the thing should be up in the air. If it's not, put the thing away and enjoy your time out there flying.
I'll open box them at the field.
Yes.
Oh, I've done that.
And made them right there.
And I'm like, Jeff, what are you doing?
Bobby's just like you said. If the plane's giving him problems, he'll say, you know what, hell with it. I'm putting it back in the truck. I fly next time. He comes to fly, not to work on airplanes, and that's Bobby's biggest pet peeve, is working on airplanes.
It absolutely is.
And don't talk to him while he's putting his damn planes together. Because if something goes wrong and he crashes, guess what? It's your fault, because you bothered him while he was putting his damn plane together.
Hey, man, I have a process. I have crashed airplanes because people have talked to me while I'm putting them together. And I'm like, my inattention, I know me. And dude, it's terrible. I'm so methodical how I do it that it's like I can't be derailed, So Jeff's not lying. He's right.
Look, you'd think Bobby was a drug dealer, all the little plastic baggies he's got, because every plane he keeps a baggie and puts it. Look, he does it every time, and it trips me out. He'll take his wings off. He'll put his little baggie, tuck it up in here like he's hiding from the cops. And he'll put his canopy back on. But hey, look, I give the man props.
That's where my wing bolts go and everything.
It's perfect.
Else.
Same spot.
Bobby, I'm with you. I got
every time,
baggies, brother.
Every time.
Oh man, that's hilarious, Jeff. That's
I
funny.
eliminate mistakes. So like Hanson Hobby connectors, like I don't have an aileron and a flap. It's in one. There is no mistake. This wing has a male connector. The other wing has a female connector. There's no way to get this stuff wrong at the field. So pre-flights are important. I've seen guys that are YouTubers, they're influencers. They go to the field, everybody makes a big deal. They're there at first flight, they crash stuff because they got the ailerons hooked up wrong. Everybody makes mistakes, but it comes from talking to people. It comes from shaking babies and kissing hands, whatever it is. But I try and do things to eliminate any possible mistake because you get time.
I get it.
Some of these things get sentimental. You don't want to crash them.
Yeah,
Bobby ain't got nothing that's sentimental. Don't let him fool you.
Hey, look, that's funny. Rylan, he's my neighbor. He says, I remember when Bobby had the Tundra, he would shove planes in the front seat. I still shove them in there. They ride shotgun.
Yeah, they're half in your lap when you're going up the road.
Yeah, man.
But you got a trailer behind you full of 15 other planes, but that other one had to go on your lap.
It just had to. I will say, Jeff has a really nice setup in his trailer, and I see the benefit of having a trailer. The only reason I don't is where I live at, we have an HOA, and you cannot have a trailer. So the next thing that I'm going to end up probably doing is getting the camper, do the camper shell, and that'll suffice for me.
I think it's the same color as your truck. All you got to do is come over here. Yep. You're a big guy. I'm a big guy. You're twice my size, but I'm twice your height. Anyways,
that's true. He's not lying.
We can pick it up and put it on your truck, no problem, man. And then you can do like I did. You had the the piece of plywood across. You got double stackers for your planes.
It's true, man. I like how you think. It's and I'll get there. I'm gonna get that thing from you anyway. By the way, I'm glad you said that. But all right, Brendan.
I need my trailer, man. Somebody needs to borrow it this weekend or next weekend, so I need you to come get it before next weekend.
Okay, I'll do it. All right, Brendan. Loaded question. You ready?
Yep. Shoot.
And go. What really grinds your gears, man? What really makes you upset that you see a lot at the airfield? What really gets under your skin when you see it? I love asking this question because we can go on and on and on. Like the pet peeves that you have. My pet peeve is like people talking to me when I'm putting the airplane together. Like, don't talk to me when I'm putting the airplane together. Talk to me after. Another one is like when you're out there, you're trying to do a maiden flight and you got people out there heckling you. And it's normally the older crowd, because, they're twice as old. They had twice as time not to care. So, you know what I mean? But
sorry, I had to laugh.
What did they say? I started with the camper shell. It grew up and became a large trailer. But
if you want big planes, you need a trailer.
And I have.
Bobby's got big planes.
I do, man.
He just comes to the field with the tailgate down.
Yeah,
I flew with a guy down in Maryland, Morad, and he invited me down to DCRC. So I went down there and I flew with him. And this guy, he's got this. It was this little car, and it reminded me of like a circus clown car. You get out of it, and the clowns don't stop. The planes didn't stop. I have no idea how this dude got all these planes in this little like Volkswagen Jetta, but it was like 48 planes that he drug out of this. And it was just nonstop. And I'm like, how do you get all those in there? And he said it's like Tetris with airplanes.
Yeah,
I was impressed. There was no way that I would have got that stuff in there.
we got a guy that flies with us. Great guy. He's got a Tesla, man. And like when I mean he's got a Tesla, so his car's electric, and then he's got a charging. What is that thing? A portable
charging station.
That's as big as this box, and he can charge like 6S lipos all day long. But he'll pull like 9 planes out of the back of that thing. I'm like, dude, really?
Yeah, I was amazed, and I was like, well, dang. I said, your car is one big battery anyway. You might as well be able to charge them that way. But he had a bunch of planes in that thing. It was impressive. But, like I said, when I grow up, I'm going to have a big trailer like you guys one day, but until then,
it's overrated.
I've had
Jeff
30.
Never answered the question. What's his answer to this question?
Yeah, Jeff. What really grinds your gears?
Man, that's a loaded question, Bobby.
Go ahead, man. Hey, you're amongst friends. You're in a circle of trust.
See, if you'd asked me this a year ago, I'd have told you something totally different.
Probably.
Oh.
Ooh, I know a good one that really got. Oh yeah, go ahead, Jeff. Speak freely, my friend.
Bobby, I can't. I got to be professional, man. I got to be professional.
Do you have to?
I got to leave this one alone for this week.
I think you should.
Because I'm gonna make the phone call tomorrow, and I'm going by to pick it up.
Well, can you be vague about it?
Brendan, I bought a plane from somebody.
Okay.
Did the maiden flight. Motor wasn't running right. Told me he was going to take the plane, take the motor off, send it back, get it refreshed for free. It's been a year ago, I still haven't seen my plane.
And he has your money.
Oh yeah.
He's had my money. He had my money before I even had the plane.
Bent by now. He probably doesn't have your money anymore.
I bought one used engine in my day, and I'll never buy another one. Never. And it flies well, no issues, perfect break in, blah 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 blah. Right. So anyway, that's all hooey. It's always hooey. And it wasn't worth it. It was a DA 50. I was trying to save like $200 on, put a used one in a plane because I was doing engine swaps in and out. And it didn't work out. I had to send it back to DA. And by the time it was said and done, I saved like $10, and it wasn't worth it because I'd rather spend the $10 and had a brand new one. But, I learned at that point, you got to tread lightly when you buy used stuff. And why people still buy stuff off Facebook and they pay through Facebook, just blows my mind. It's either PayPal or it's nothing, or it's cash in hand. Let me look at it. And then you assume all the risk, unfortunately. But used stuff, I don't mind buying new stuff off people. That's, theirs or whatever. But the used stuff, I've learned over the years that's just, it's not great in the long run. But I don't know. I mean, the grind in the gears thing it's that one's tough.
It is, man.
When I go to the airplane field, I'm usually so lax. I mean, that's my drugs for me, because it takes a lot to have things go south and get me worked up. But I think it's twofold. Number one, people that won't help people. If you have the ability to take a moment and help a youth, or help an older guy or whoever it is, or at least offer your time rather than laugh at them in the corner, I think we all should do so. And I see a lot of people that don't do that, but I don't see that often, but it happens. But I think the one that grinds my gears that I want to turn around and smack people is when they're doing the engine tuning 3 feet behind you with a gas engine at 5,000, 6,000 RPM.
Oh yeah.
And you're trying to fly right there. Take the damn thing down to the other end of the field and tune it way down there where you're not
killing everybody's ears. Flying. Yeah.
So hey, I think that's mine.
I'll comment, Bobby. Grinds my gears when somebody tries to tell me how to set up my radio. Okay.
Yeah.
Bobby assigns his switches. So this is my flight simulators radio. Okay. So Bobby's got his ailerons here.
Yep.
And his elevator here.
Yep.
Me personally, I like everything on one. Telling me I have to fly with Expo. I don't have to fly with Expo, buddy.
Yeah, that wasn't me that told him that, just so we could be clear.
This is my Expo. Exactly.
Thank you. And this is a conversation we have. We have never used Expo. I have never used it before. I used it once and it was mushy. And I was like, I need full control, man. Like, if you can't get smooth with your thumbs and feel the airplane and do it like the manual way, I think you're cheating yourself of your potential. That's just how I feel.
I don't fly with rates. Well, I've started to set up rates with the newer stuff, like the Viper.
Yeah. Now you're crazy for not flying with rates. I'll go ahead and hit you with that.
The rates thing is each to their own, right? Low rates, mid rates, high rates. I did a flight review on a plane, and Stuart made a comment to me. He's like, well, it looks like it might be a little tail heavy. Absolutely it is. And it also has double the elevator throw, but it's a hell of a lot of fun for Brendan.
Right.
Because that's just what suits me. I like a lot of throw. I like little throw on takeoff because of stalling planes on takeoff. But when it comes down to landing, I want as much elevator as I have control over, because I can feel stalls and I can tell how that behavior of those wings are acting if I'm at the verge of winging over one on a tip stall. So I've learned with fat heavy EDFs. I do like a little bit of elevator expo, usually no more than 20. And that helps to prevent the bobble when you see the people getting a lot of this coming in for a landing. And usually my landings on the EDFs are pretty spot on. And I've learned to use expo. You get better as a pilot by flying with better people, and you become a better builder by building with better people. And you learn along the way. And I've always said one of the rules I live by in my life is you're as smart cumulatively as the people you surround yourself with.
That's true.
So if you're surrounded by good pilots, you're going to get better, and they're going to elevate your level of flying. And if you learn from them. So for me, I use high rates, low rates. I use a little bit of elevator expo, but I have friends that fly with mixes, and with computer radios, we're still afraid to do certain things. But I have one friend in particular, he flies with a solid mix of rudder to aileron or elevator to aileron. So basically he'll put his plane into a knife edge and see how it behaves, and he'll mix that in permanently. And I'm like, oh my God, well, no, because when you're turning, that plane's going to do stupid things. He said, well, think about it. I roll this thing up into a knife edge and it couples towards the canopy. Every time I roll the plane in that attitude, it's still doing the same thing. So that little bit of mix he dials in, and he's spot on, because every one of his planes flies really well, and he's a really good pilot. And hanging around him, my flying skills in the last 2 years have gotten phenomenally better, where I feel I'm more in control of my model. I'm not a 3D pilot because I'm not out there trying to be a 3D pilot. But when it comes down to flying day in and day out and flying well in a lot of different attitudes or orientations, I have no fears. And that comes
what's
from...
wrong with the poser lifestyle, Brendan? Come on now.
No, yeah, absolutely nothing.
I'm trying to be a 3D pilot.
Well, you got to start somewhere, Jeff. You're doing good, man. And you're doing exactly what Brendan said. You're surrounding yourself with people who are knowledgeable with it. And it's actually really made you better. It really has.
I mean, and I go to events. I call them the two old guys in the Muppet Show that sat up in the balcony. Do you know what their names were?
No.
Waldorf and Statler. So there's trivia for you. But anyway, I go to event every year where these old guys that bring literally $1 million worth of planes, they sit in the middle of this field and they drink like the Muppets, the old guys at the Muppets, and they just make fun of everybody. It's kind of comical. But you know, it's just one of those things. They can fly, they can fly well, and they have some beautiful stuff that they built. But they just enjoy hanging out, and they like that poser kind of lifestyle. You know, it is what it is. And there's guys that you'll make fun of because you never see them flying, but then they get on the sticks and they're amazing. So be yourself. Never try and be that other pilot.
Yep.
Take what you can from them and learn to make yourself better. But too many people crash because, oh, I can do that. Watch. And then they crash and then they blame it on Spectrum. So
we've seen people peer pressure crash, you know, and I'm like, dude, if you don't want to fly, don't fly, you know? Or I've seen vice versa. They want to fly, but they feel intimidated. I'm like, dude, go at your own pace, man. Don't let people, you know, tell you what to do. Me and Jeff are good about that at the field. We're like, hey, man, you know, you're going to fly, and we'll land, and we're like, hey, man, it's all yours. You know, you just give people their space to grow. And it's worked out. It's worked out.
There's times where people pull something up in the air and I'll land because I don't. I was down at Warbirds over Fredericksburg, down in Virginia, and Frank Knoll Jr. was there, and he brought his F-16 with him, and it $30,000 plane, and I'm flying a $3,000 Seagulls Model 0. Still nice. It's really high end for me in my budget. And I was up there flying. He took off. He didn't care. It didn't bother him, but it bothered me. I landed. Done. Right. So if I'm up in the air with a $3,000 plane and somebody's zinging around with a $10 model, at least give me the space, or I'll respect their space. So everybody has their own as to what they feel works for them, but I like flying models of similar size and value up in the air at the same time, trying not to mix them, because that just creates hurt feelings when things happen.
Oh, absolutely.
Nothing like a $250 turbo timber up there with a $3,000
yeah. And when the midair does happen, you're like, oh, dude, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're like, sorry, I'm not going to replace this plane. Yeah, you're like, who's going to pay for this plane is the question. He doesn't have
absolutely.
it. But...
And we all accept the risk when we're up there, and we try and avoid it. And we should have spotters, should have done this, should have done that. But at the end of the day, you're out $3,000, he's out $200, and it's not.
Hey, Brendan, We got a couple of questions, man, that the people are asking. Ken Sprouse says, "I've asked this before on other channels, but when you fly, do you have a set pattern that you run?"
Yeah, so I think good pilots have an idea in their head. They're always a step ahead of that plane. So I know as I'm coming over, the runway, I'm going to pull up. I'm going to do a hammerhead. I'm going to make a circle. I'm always in a pattern. One, good pilots will fly. One pattern leads to another. And when you're just always up doing impromptu stuff, that's when stuff gets away from you and you find yourself 2 steps behind and it leads to a crash. So if you fly with a purpose, my buddy Ronnie taught me that you fly with a purpose, you'll become a better pilot. And what I've really found is that I've learned to use a lot of inverted rudder. So when you're coming over in the top of a loop, just to know when to push which direction from which attitude, you will be amazed how much cleaner of a pilot you look just because you can use the rudder inverted coming through a loop.
That's actually pretty smart. Never really thought about that before. Well, let's look. Hey, check this question out. Question for all. Now, this is a good one. What is the etiquette at the field when somebody crashes hard? And then he goes and says, pretend that it didn't happen or go pick up the pieces.
So it depends. It depends on your relationship with the individual. I have a really good friend that I fly with, and he has unfortunate luck. I'm just going to let it at that. He's a great guy. He has unfortunate luck, and we make fun of him. We call him the Beanfield King all the time. Do you need help going out through the beanfield? Whatever, pumpkin patch hunting. Charlie Brown. So we really, but there's times where I've watched an old guy have something get away from him, and it was a favorite model, and he goes out there, and I feel as heartbroken as he does.
Yeah.
And I go out there with him. Let's go pick stuff up. Let's go look for something. I've wasted a half a day at the flying field helping somebody trying to find an airplane, but that favor's been returned to me more times over. So I think one hand washes the other, but for sure, we all make mistakes. I'm okay saying, "Oh, I screwed up. I crashed my Bayhawk because I put a dead battery in it." And I have so many fail safes to prevent that. But that morning I was just, I gotta go.
That's it.
It didn't work out. So lesson learned. It is what it is. But yeah, I agree with Jeff. We pick up the pieces, we cry with them, dude. I'm so sorry. You try and encourage them. It doesn't look that bad, but when there's 4,000 pieces in a trash bag, it's kind of hard for them to believe you. So,
Yeah.
it's. I have another good friend that the guy has a nice collection of planes, but nothing ever just seems to go his way. And sometimes our budgets get to be bigger than our flying abilities, and I feel bad for people because then they don't have luck. You got to stick with what works for you. I want to get into turbines, but I also have a fear of I can't fly turbines, and the only way you're going to know if you can fly turbines or not is to get into it. But a lot of people want to get into other things, and they're just what we want and what we can do are 2 different things.
I would agree with you. What holds me back from turbines is not the ability to fly them, is that if in the event that it goes down and crashes, they always burn.
Yeah, always. And we have a lot of wooded area around us.
Same
so
here.
If I go the turbine, and it's volunteer fire department, so you're going to lose 2 acres before you even blink an eye. Right. So for me, I won't even fly a turbine at our field. We do allow turbines. We're trying to take some precautions as to if that stuff ever happens, but there's other venues that I can go to in other nearby fields that'd be better suited. So I'm not too worried about I'll buy a turbine and not be able to fly it, but right. I also have to know that it has to fit the bill. It has to be the right budget to do that, because there's no sense in buying a $30,000 turbine that you can only fly every now and then. Right. I'll be okay with an $8,000 turbine plane that I'm going to take to somebody else's field and hopefully not have any issues.
I wouldn't mind having one.
$8,000 on a plane, not me.
Yeah, right.
Well, it starts somewhere, Jeff. Now I'm not familiar with your airplane collection, but that Arrows Bayhawk, so that's $150. There's people that'll say, I don't know how you can spend $3,000 on an airplane. Oh my God! But if you look at their collection, they have $1,300 planes.
That's true. And that's very Jeff. A guy like
that. Quantity or quality? What is it that you're shooting for?
Right. Yep. That is very, very true. You bring up a good point. Those people that say that, and then they have multiple airplanes, they probably have over a couple of grand in airplanes.
That's why I'm trying to. Okay, so I'm trying to thin the herd because I want a Mamba 120.
Oh, they're phenomenal. I was just looking at a guy on YouTube before I came on the show. He had one. The Mamba 120 is on the list. It by far is on the list.
I've flown one a couple times. Wild Child Graphics, Chris Prince let me fly his, man. And that thing is smooth as butter, dude. Smooth.
They're nice. They're just they're awesome flyers, and they're babies.
And that's another
and they're
one.
Expensive.
Well,
but for a reason.
Again, can you build one for that?
Nope.
You know, and could you build it to look as well? When you look at multiple color schemes, that's what gets me, because monocoat and me don't get along. It don't happen. I do the worst covering jobs in the world. Now I'm building a stick built Dynaflight kit that's from the 80s. I won it at an event, and I'm slowly stick building that, but that'll get fabricked just because I hate monocoat, and I'll do a paint job on that, and hopefully that should turn out well. But that's slow go. That'll be a 2 or 3 year build. That's going to be giant scale sets, like 96 inches.
Brendan, Mickey BRC said, hey, start with foam turbine conversions, Brendan. You know the EDFs fly well. Good intro into turbines, in my opinion. I've thought about that too, but I'm just like, foam and the turbine, I know you can get the shielding and everything. It just, for me, I'm like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it,
Yeah, and that's the thing. Are you committing to it, or are you, do you think you're going to succeed, or do you think you're going to fail with it? And in this case, I'm hoping that I would succeed with it. So I'm okay spending a little bit more to have a better plane. I think Top RC Model through Gator has a couple nice choices. There's a couple other companies that I looked at. Hardlock has some really cool right size Vipers, and that's a fabulous airframe, to begin with. But I can't never get a hold of Hardlock, and I'm not going to give them 700 bills if I can't get an email response. So, they build some gorgeous stuff, and a lot of people, they drop their money there and they don't have any problems. But if I got no form of communication with you, if I'm missing something, it's just, I'd rather put my money elsewhere. Again, the quality of it. If it has to be a car for something else, then we just need to save longer for it. But again, I'm having a lot of fun right now with the gas powered stuff, and the turbine stuff is nice and down the road, but maybe one day to just fit the budget a little better. For now, it's just, it's one of those next, we all have that next elevation, where do we want to go next in the hobby with something?
Well, look, guys, I'll make everybody a promise right now. If I win the lottery, I'm going to be like Oprah. You get a turbine, and you get a turbine, and you get a turbine. So,
hey man, I'm gonna hold you to that. I'm absolutely gonna hold you to that.
I might even buy you 2 turbines, Bobby.
You should, that's man. Sweet. For the stuff that I put up with, you should. You really should. So let's see here. We're winding down a little bit here. We've been rolling hard for about 1 hour and 17 minutes. We always roll over. We always say we're going to do it for an hour, and somehow, some way, we start talking. We have a good time, and before you know it,
it's easy. It's
easy.
Yeah,
it's easy. But I want to ask you this: what is your top airplane pick of the week, man? It can be any airplane that you like, but what is an airplane that you think others should know about, should at least try, should fly, that is just good for everyone? That's another loaded one too.
No, hey, not at all.
I'll tell you this though. I will say.
Oh my goodness!
It is.
Say that one more time.
Y'all keep rubbing
the
that
AL-37.
In, dude.
There is no image in the world like, it's just circles. It's just circles. You want to fly scale? That plane will teach you to fly scale, because the only thing you're going to do with it is fly scale. Now,
landings.
You gotta have the back sunset. It is golden hour. It is you're the last guy up.
That was you, Jeff.
You have 30 people standing there watching a foam airliner that you are guiding in by a red light, a green light, and a white main landing gear light coming in. And Maverick's got the ball, and all you're using is lights to determine pitch and altitude. And when that thing comes in and you set the mains down and you're riding the nose high, and you got guys that fly $30,000 turbine engines coming up and going, dude, can I get a picture with your airliner? Yeah. For $500, it don't get any better than that.
Look, man, I had the best golden hour flight with Bobby's AL-37. Low, slow. I mean, like almost
down,
speed.
Belly 2 inches off the ground.
It was my fault.
Beautiful. Sun was hitting it just right. Bobby deleted the damn video
by accident, man. Dude, I will say
the landing was perfect. It was hot. I mean, set the mains, ride it down, and they set it down.
It was beautiful, and it was exactly what you said. It was sunset, and it was the light hit it perfectly. It was coming in nice and scale and low and smooth in the turns. I mean, it was beautiful. And I got home and I was exhausted and half asleep, and I accidentally deleted the video. And I was like, Jeff, I was like, dude, I deleted the video. He's like, what? I said, yeah. He was like, that's it. He was like, you gotta come up with a better plan. I'm like, dude, it was amazing. That was probably the most, like, I hate using this word epic, but that was probably the most epic airplane video that I've seen in flying. Just smooth scale, realistic, and looking good. But you're right, that AL-37 is something special. And it's just a tube of foam with some ducted fans hanging off of it.
It's a beer cooler.
It
It's a beer
is.
cooler is all it is.
My
That
ex-wife used
Lee
to call
man
him that.
down there, I guess I lost him because he's given me one of those emojis. He doesn't like my choice, but Jeff, I can't wait to see the video of yours flying because that thing's going to look good up in the air as well. But the thing's phenomenal. I have well over 200 flights on that. It's probably the plane I've flown the most out of all of them. That thing has 200 flights on it. Still original everything. There's not a part on that plane. The paint job's looking a little tattered now, but there's not a part on that plane flying off of grass, flying off of pavement, all over the place. There's there's just not a plane that's seen more airtime than that one, and it's flawless. It's flawless.
Paul,
Yeah,
I promise you, it was like the best flight.
it was the best flight. It was, man, dude. But I'm telling you that. But you're right, and that airplane doesn't get the respect that it should for what it is. I mean, it's a good flyer. And I'm wondering if that PJ-50, if it's going to be as good. I imagine so. Every video I've seen, it looks very nice. I'm as well going with the Motion RC. I told you why. I like the parts availability, and I know that when I buy it, I'm gonna have stuff in stock, or it's gonna be restocked.
Yeah,
So
it's
Yeah,
got
I'm just a big believer in the product they put out and the people
I
that
am
they
too.
are, and I'm not taking anything away from XFly and the Bitgo
Same here.
hobby and everyone else that carries their stuff because it's still going to be a good plane. It's really
Yep.
ironic how the two releases worked out, and I
Yep.
think we can all understand the dynamics of what occurred there. But I really love the guys at Motion RC, and I like what they've done for the hobby, and I don't
Yeah,
think
they're wonderful.
they've gouged people, and it's to me, they resemble a lot of what this community is. And I've just been a big believer in their stuff for a long time. And not everything's perfect. I got an F-14 that I came out with a lot of modifications for, and I
Right.
shared with people just because it's what the plane needed and it was lacking.
Right.
But the A10 is a home run. They just got some really great stuff out there, and not everything's perfect. It don't have to be. Horizon stuff, it is what it is. I think there's some stuff that's a really big hit, and then there's some stuff that's just a flame and miss.
Yeah.
So, the X-Fly stuff they seem to be coming on hard
Yep.
with, and they have a lot of planes that are really appealing to the eye, and then they have some that are like, nah, not in it, not interested at all.
And Brendan, you probably don't even remember this, but I was having an issue. Jeff, I'll talk about it very briefly, but I had the MiG-29, the first generation that came out, and it went in. And you
I
actually,
remember. Yeah, I
you
remember watching your video. Yep.
Yeah, and it went in, and Jeff was like, "What in the world?" And I remember me and you having a conversation, and your conversation actually helped me, make contact with them, and they ended up doing the right thing, and compensating and saying, "Hey,
boy, they didn't want to."
well, but I'm a very persistent dude, but also I understand where they come from. And the owner, Tom, explained it to me, man. He says, we have to be careful because in the past they got, abused by having, people just saying they're having issues with airplanes. And, they're not going to be in business very long if they just hand airplanes out to people. So they have to have some type of checks and balances and vetting. And I understand that, but I
They
thought our
tried to
dynamic,
tell you he was
Absolutely.
your radio.
I
though.
thought our dynamic was a little different, but, either way.
I think when you saw 20
Yeah.
of them all go in the same manner
Thank
in the
you.
first couple days of coming out. But,
Yep.
for me, as I went through that plane, the day I unboxed it, I ordered those servos to replace the rear to put the high-tech, the D85s in there. as I unboxed that plane before they ever put out the memo. So I was already starting the linkage while the crashes were happening because I just didn't like what I saw. The F-14 was very similar. And I've had guys hit me up in messages and stuff. And they're like, oh my God, you overkilled that plane and blah, blah, blah. I don't care. It's a $600 plane that I overkilled for $100, and I have 100 flights on the thing. I'm okay with that. That's why I fly planes forever, because the stuff don't fall apart because of my modeling ability. And I don't have to explain that. You share the information. Here's what I did. This is what's been successful, and that was the reason I went down to DCRC, is because they had 3 go in the field. And they all got new ones, and they're like, we're not going to fly them. We're not going to build them until we see if your mods work. And would you come down here and actually show it off? And I'm like, okay, sure. So I went down there and I hammered the snot out of that plane, and I put it in a full-on power dives, pulled out, everything held up great. And then they're like, okay, we'll put on the flaps and do a full dive and then power up and pull out. I'm like, in what world does that happen?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
I don't want to induce things that aren't normal. In a normal full speed dive in a pool, we all do that. At a full flap, if that's what's going to cause the crash, then let's not do things like that. But at the end of the day, I think they could have done things to beef up that linkage. But for, certain people, I think that was a gleaming responsibility for them to take care of, and I think they did the right thing. Then there's other planes where people just get them and they're above their ability and they crash them, and it hurts. The $600 hurts, the $800 hurts, the $1,000 hurts. And instead of them saying I made a bad choice or it was above my ability and I crashed it, then it becomes the plane, and then we all suffer because they hit the manufacturer. The manufacturer spreads the love back to all of us in the next model, and we're all eating higher prices because they're trying to do the best thing for customer service.
You said it beautifully, man. You're absolutely right. And I will say that they did, at the end of the day, they did make it right. But it was important for me to hear Motion RC, talk to them. And like I said, we had a conversation like we're having, very good conversation. And I walked away from that saying, those dudes do absolutely care about their customer service, but I also understand that, they got to protect themselves as well. So, and I turned around and bought another MiG-29 too. So that should tell you how, I'm a believer. Yeah, I still got it. Yeah, I still got it. And guess what I did? I beefed up that the elevator on there, and
no issues since.
And no issue since. And I'll add on to what you said, and this is important that a lot of people don't realize, is that when you buy these airplanes that are, plug and play, whatever, they come with just the standard equipment for them to work. You know what I mean? So if you're going to be doing things above and beyond, and you want some longevity in there, then you need to be like Brendan over here and pull the servos out and put good quality stuff in there so you get some longevity out of it, because it's just standard equipment of most of the time that they're putting in this stuff. So, well, guys, look, man, I think we did a good job, man. We've been rolling for 1 minute and 27 seconds. This has been great. Brendan, it's been awesome having you on the show, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks. No, it's been a lot of fun. Thank you.
Not only did you educate us, I mean, dude, I hope we
I feel like a moron. I don't know, I just need to shut up.
Well, you should. I'm just kidding. No, man. I'm super appreciative of you coming to the channel. Guys, check out his channel, like and subscribe, hit the bell, start following him, because if you want to grow in this hobby, he's your guy. If you want to grow in the gas planes and get some really good mods, he's your guy. So check him out. And he is worth every minute that you watch the videos, because I've watched your videos a lot. I was telling Jeff about it.
In there, Brendan. Stick your plug. Man. Sponsors.
Oh yeah. So a couple things. So number one, we have the Just Plain Crazy YouTube channel. So I definitely appreciate that. And the channel's really grown in the last couple of years. Bobby's well surpassed me, and he's skyrocketing now. So
I don't know why.
No, it's all good. It's great content, and I'm happy to see people that love the hobby do well. So that's fantastic. But we also have our Just Plain Crazy Facebook page, the official one, and I share a lot of stuff on there. I do some stuff over on rcpilot.com. I really like the Instagram stuff. I think it's pretty cool to share a lot of pictures and things that go on there. And then we have the Just Plain Crazy member page, which it just is what it is. It's for people to post whatever they want on there, and it's just another avenue for people to communicate. So if you guys want to hop over, every subscribe is greatly appreciated. And if you've got a Draco, we also do the landing gear mod fix on the Draco as well, which that has gone international, by the way. So countries, oh my God,
nice.
We've now sold Draco plates to Australia, New Zealand. We've gone to Germany with a lot of them, the UK, into France, almost every state within the US, Hawaii, Alaska, Montana, Oregon. They've gone all over the place. So that's been really cool to help fix a model problem all the way across the whole entire globe. So just plain crazy stickers all over the planet, which is what I love. But anything that we can do to help out the industry and and share passions, it's really cool. Where are you guys from? What state?
North Carolina.
North Carolina. So you're down there with Jeff's Custom RC. You're close to him.
About an hour and a half.
Okay.
And we still haven't seen that, Joe.
We still have never met.
Yeah. Well,
he looks like a garage dweller. He stays in there with all his plans and he doesn't come out. So.
I'll be in Greenville tomorrow. I'm going to call him.
So, Lee, man, you asked about the link for the plate. So you want to just go ahead and shoot a email over to landinggearfix@gmail.com. And there's also, if you search my YouTube channel for Draco Repair, there's a video on how I did the repairs and the plates. We're now on version 3. I actually have a production company that makes my design for me. They are press stamped steel plates. So what I found is Horizon just drills crazy ass holes through their landing gear. So we eliminated some of those holes and only have the main axle. And now it gives you the ability to drill yours exactly where the carbon gear is. But it's one of those things. It's model preservation. If you want to have fun with the thing and beat it up and do one wheel touch and goes, Jeff, you alluded to that earlier. There's nothing like one wheeled rollers down the runway if you can do it. So that plane can do it if you give it a little bit of help. So it's a cheap insurance plan for it, but that's it. Landinggearfix@gmail.com. And again, that's really helped out the Draco community. And I can argue with people all day long whether you think it's standard or substandard gear or whatever. Doesn't matter. There's a fix to help you if you want to beat the stuff up a little harder. So
bingo.
But
landinggearfix@gmail.com, right?
Yep, that's it.
I'm going to Aurora.
I'll shoot you over the information. But if I want to give a rough number, probably over 1,000 sets.
Wow. So hey man, that's all you, Brendan. You did that, man. So
we'll send him a bill for the interview later. Don't worry.
There's no charge.
Sure, but if you guys ever decide to have a fly-in out there and get Jeff out of his house or whatever, and maybe we can make arrangements. Maybe I can poke down there one of these years, and we can do some flying together. So that would always be some cool content for everybody.
I think we're our guy. Sad news is I think we're in jeopardy of losing our field, Bobby.
It's a possibility. We have a lot of development where we're at, and it's looking like we might lose it, man. You never know. But the good thing is we've got a bunch of fields around us, so we might have to. But it's one of those things everybody has to think about sometimes. So
I've been there. I've been part of 2 clubs now that have lost fields. And, there's always something bright around the corner and people that are willing to help. It sucks and you have to go out there and look for it. But
Snow Valley. He said, wow, they sold over 1,000 of those ugly Dracos.
Yeah. There's a ton. They're all over the planet. It is insane how many of those things they obviously have sold. But
and Brendan, our channel is known to we're very honest about airplanes, and we don't really filter. That probably hurts us from some people who want to endorse want us to endorse or review their products because we're honest. But we flew the Draco and we weren't really impressed with it at all. It was amazing. It looked good. Aesthetically, it's awesome looking.
Right.
But,
I've flown a supermodel with a crooked nose. That's what it is.
Thank you. All day long. Thank you. All day long. All day long.
It didn't hold out to be. You had mentioned the Carbon Z Cub. By far 10 times of a better flying plane, period, hands down, no discussion. It is what it is from reliability, flight characteristics,
It just needs lights.
Yeah, right. That's the only thing. Well, that and the stupid battery bay I don't like, but it is what it is. But it's still a phenomenal flying plane. So everything else I can deal with. The Draco just didn't meet the expectation I thought it would be. I think it would be more of a stole plane. And the very first landing, I snapped the gear on because I dropped it from about 6 inches up in the air because it stalled.
Yep.
Great.
Heavy.
That's fine. It stalled. I dropped it from 6 inches, but it broke the gear. I don't really care.
Right.
I dropped a lot of other planes, bigger planes from 6 inches. They didn't break the gear. So anyway, it broke the gear, and then it broke the shocks, and it broke the plastic. So another $100 into an already expensive plane because learning lesson. And now we got the thing back in the air, and now I'm having some fun beating it up a little bit because it's kind of boring. And this is not landing like the AL-37. It gets pounded pretty good. So I broke another set. So there's another $100 of garbage that's broke. And then that's when I came up with the fix. But the hinges that pull out, and there's a lot of people that say they don't have any issues with things, and that's fine. But trust me, I know 1,000 sets of gear sold later, there's a lot of problems out there with stuff. And I have a lot of people that reach out to me on email, and it's been well over a couple hundred now that have said, what else do you do to it? What else have you seen? Oh, check the hinges, put a little CA in there. And they're like, oh yeah, I just caught mine doing that. So the problems, they may not affect everything and the percentages may be small, but at the end of the day, that guy just spent his hard-earned $600 and that may be the top end of his budget.
Right.
He's going to lose a plane to something that he's a small percentage of. And I don't like that. So if I can help people with a small investment, then let's do it. A lot of ideas I share are completely free. And then some things that require money on my end, I pass that along to people. This is just what it is. But the plane doesn't roll well. It is nostalgic. It is, I love everything that Mike Patey stands for. I love his innovation. He is the Howard Hughes of our day. And that is immense for the aviation community. So if what I overpaid for that plane just went into his pocket, I'm cool with it. I bought a lot of other planes that just weren't great flyers. But, when you want somebody to go look at your supermodel with the crooked nose, you drag it out every now and then and beat it up in front of, people in public. And it's a lot of fun. There's nothing like putting that baby in a nosedive and hitting the reverse thrust and just having it go as it's falling out of the air and everybody stops to look at it. So, and then you plop her down on the ground and you taxi backwards into your tent and you take the battery out of it and everyone's like, oh my God, I've never seen that before. Well, that's what it's good for, but it's definitely not the greatest flying plane that I've ever touched.
Yep. Well, man, I like your honesty. I like your approach to everything. And man, I think you're an awesome addition to the hobby, man. So you were on the list of people I wanted to get to have on as a guest, and I promised all of our viewers that we would have a lot of people in here that would bring some type of content or something to the table, when we do this show. So you definitely offer quite a bit, and we're very thankful for having you here. Jeff, you got anything for Brendan?
No, man, it's been a pleasure. We appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a lot of fun, guys. I appreciate you having me on and appreciate all the guys that have joined in and chatted on the side. Did you watch Kenny's video on how to land the Draco without breaking the gear?
Yeah.
Is that why this conversation just came up?
Yeah, dude, did you watch Kenny's video on how to land the Draco without breaking the gear?
Have you been over, Lyndon, have you been over to the Just Plain Crazy YouTube channel and just watched the Draco fix and watch Brendan do one-wheeled rollers for about 100 yards up the runway and then spin the thing around and ground loop it and pound the crap out of it and fly it back in the air because it held up? Whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't doubt what anybody else wants to do and fly their plane, but when it comes down to putting stuff to the limits, I think I do a fair job.
I would agree with you. Honestly, I think you stress the heck out of the airplane. So
it's like you said, if the manufacturers look down on us for being honest, that's fine. But the ones that want to survive will take what we have to say and make it better. And that's what I like about the E-Flight and FMS combination in that 90 Viper, because they did it and look at the end result. So,
and I'll say
what it is. And Hobby King is getting in this line now where they're listening. They're listening and they're coming out with stuff and it's better. And it may not be the top end shelf yet, but they're listening. And guess what?
It's getting there.
They're going to get there.
Like I said, I've been saying this every show. People better pay attention to Hobby King, man, because they're out for blood, dude. They're trying to get that crown back and they're not playing. So they've incorporated a lot of good dudes that are knowledgeable and they want our positive feedback. me and Jeff are very honest, and we're like, hey man, Stuart, this airplane's doing this. It might need to be fixed, or I experienced this. They listen, they fix it at the manufacturer before it goes into production, man. It's awesome. So, and they do the same thing for you, I know. So, it's very nice to have the opportunity. But yeah, Jeff's Customs, Hobby King is killing it.
Are you sure like they listen to us after talking to this guy down here? I mean, ain't no way in hell. No way.
They do, man. Yeah, they definitely do. But I will say, Brendan, it's been a pleasure. You're welcome on a channel anytime, man. We'll have to have you again, and we'll move in another direction. Sure. But thank you for your time.
Keep me on the short list. And like I said, let me know when you guys have events down there, and for sure if we can make something. I'm not a Joe Knoll guy, right? So I don't like the super crazy big stuff. That's not me. I like a personal touch. So if you guys got something that ever comes up down there and you wanna hang out and fly sometime, or you feel like making a travel trip up, by all means, let's get together and kill it for sure. But I appreciate your time, and everybody that's popped in here to comment and ask questions and anything else. Head on over to my YouTube channel there at Just Plain Crazy. Smash that subscribe button, hang out, ask questions, and I respond to everybody. I don't think I've ever had one comment come through that I haven't responded to. And if I can help people, I'll help people, just like you guys and Jeff over at Jeff's Custom RC. It's what makes us all have a good brotherhood and connection here with everybody out there in this community. But for sure, the way, if you want to get together again sometime, hit me up. We'll do it.
Absolutely. By the way, on that note, while we were talking about that, I came up with a Facebook group, and it's the RC Help Desk. So, and it's just a conglomerate of people. I designed it so when people have a question, man, you can go and ask these people like Jeff NC84, Just Plain Crazy, Jeff's Customs, all the other dudes that do this stuff that have the knowledge and ability to where you can ask and get some good factual information, from across the board. So that's a little project, a side project that I'm working on. But, we're just trying to contribute back to the hobby, like you said, so, and try to help people. But man, it's been awesome to have you guys. Hit the button. Don't forget to join his channel.
You got it, Kenny Sprouse. Hit the dislike button twice.
Hit it twice. And Snow Valley, I heard what you said. I just want to, before I leave, you can see the albatross is out the box. We're going to talk about it on the next show. You were the reason why that's out of the box. I just want to go ahead and give you that. I appreciate the motivation. And guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Check out the video that we did from Hobby King with the Excalibur V2. That's a slick airplane, by the way. And I think we're done, man. I think we're done.
Yeah, no, that was funny.
I saw what he said, that guy. He said, look at those white legs. Looks like you're riding an ostrich. That's funny. Well, guys, we're getting on out of here, man. Appreciate everything. It's late. Get back to your families. Get some air into your wings, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
Happy flights, guys. Take care.